Hey everybody. So I wanted to give some non-spoiler commentary to Joker. I saw it in theaters yesterday. My first impressions were wow. It was not something that I was expecting to see. If you're looking for like your typical classic Batman kind of theme and led on, it definitely does not tend to be the run-of-the-mill Batman movie, as there is a little bit of action and there's a lot of drama, but not a lot of action packed guns, cars, all that other kind of stuff, fighting, etc., villains. It dives more deep into the story of Arthur Fleck, played by Quinn, very, very well. And it kind of dives a little bit more into the personality and the life of Joker, pre Joker, and how he even came to have the name Joker. And it speaks a lot overall to one, mental health, and it also speaks to trauma. And I'll delve on that in a little bit. But when I was in school and I got my master's in social work, we learned a lot about nature versus nurture. So when we're looking at nature, we're looking at a lot of the things that you have that are just genetically composed inside of you that you're born with, that play out in your characteristic and your personality, etc. And then we also look at nurture, and nurturing has a lot to do with childhood rearing, how you were raised, the environment that you were raised in, different types of behavior constructs, and how situations are handled. For example, in some people's homes, what goes on in the family stays in the family, or as some people would say, swept under the rug. And this movie deals a lot with that. You can see throughout the movie how it is that he perceives himself and what he comes to know as his life as an adult and all the things that are attributed to that. And then he also ends up coming into information about other things that he did not know about his life, which has a completely different trajectory on how he sees himself and how he sees himself play a role in society. One of the things that I think a lot of people can take from this is that people are going through things, and to kind of bring trauma back into the picture, trauma can expose itself in a lot of different types of ways. We experience a very traumatic event and we process that or we don't. And if we're processing it in a certain way. And if we are not processing that, we're also still showing it in other various ways. This could be addictions that some people decide to pick up. This could be different coping mechanisms to kind of mask the trauma that we don't necessarily want to deal with. And it also usually affects a lot of our relationships, whether they're personal or professional. Some people are afraid. Some people are afraid of what they see when they look in the mirror. Some people don't know how to process, and we oftentimes forget that it is a privilege to use critical thinking skills. Not a lot of people know how to use critical thinking skills. So when you do have those abilities to be able to know that you're in a situation that you don't quite understand, to know that you might need to step back from it for a bit to grasp the full concept of what it is, and then use some of those cognitive behavioral skills to be able to make some of the best informed decisions based off of all the different options that are on the table. When you see a homeless person on the street, that homeless person isn't just a homeless person on the street. That homeless person is someone who has a story. The homeless person has a lot of things that ultimately built up where they are today, or where they are when you see them. And when you think that people are crazy, or the first thing that comes to your mind is that person's crazy, there's a reason why they're crazy. And it's one of the reasons why I love the passion that I have of doing therapy and counseling with people, because it's about going back and unpacking what it is that's on the surface and how it got all the way there. It's like, this is what we see displayed, but this is what caused a lot of those behaviors to ultimately be exhibited. Um, so yeah, if you are definitely looking to get a lot of good connections for Batman, and also to get a lot of deeper stories about how some of their characters became who they are, definitely go and check out Joker. I typically have not been always a Batman movie kind of fan until I started going to see them. One, they're too long. This one was kind of like just right. But check it out, and I'm curious to know some of your thoughts for those of you who have seen it already, and if you might have anything else to add to what I've said here.